What are you doing, Stu, man?
What?
Yeah? Was you over here checking out Mommy's new toy? Oh my god.
What's up? How you guys doing? How are you doing? Huh? Yeah, this isn't Ashley's. This is mine. This is a tool. That doesn't sound any better. Stewie. How do we explain this? This is a hat for Stewie. This is a CV boot stretcher. Okay? This is for stretching your CV boots over the half shafts so you don't mess them up when you put them on. And that stretches them a good bit. I know!
Doesn't it? Yeah, give it a sniff. Sniff of approval. Watch, it'll fit your head. What? No, you fell over!
It's a hat! He said, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Also, ta-da! Our pickup tube O-ring came in. This looks identical to the one that came out of the truck. So, we'll do a how-to on all of this.
What are you doing? What are you... What? Don't you hit my camera!
So my mom has been bringing boxes of my stuff up since they're cleaning out Graham's house. Check this out. My pap made me this. It's like a 57. He liked to do woodworking. My pap died when I was pretty young. Who is this guy?
Look at that!
This is like the phases of Todd.
Okay, I don't know how old I was in any of these, but like, there's me and my brother.
Yeah, that's all me. That's all me. Let the good times roll. I also want to say bravo to that Acaso, that brand, the dash cam. I told them that I would like, if possible, to have another dash cam, maybe a different model, because I'd like to have one for my wife's car. And I told them a model that I liked, and they said, well, we're not currently doing promotions on those, but I'll look into it. And they messaged me back, and they say, we will in fact send you one. They did not ask me to review it, but I am going to be doing a review. So far, from what I see, this thing is way nicer than the dash cam I got. The dash cam they sent me is like a quick, just set up, front and rear, everything's there. This one you have to wire a rear view camera in that goes to the back. The front is the whole mirror, and it's all touch screen, and it is like HD quality, like awesome quality. I will show you what it looks like. Hold on a second. So this is the camera. I have it flipped out. You can push that in so it's flush or out, and it's basically a rear view mirror that goes over your rear view mirror. And I have it plugged in right now. Look at that. Like, awesome freaking quality. It's all touchscreen. It has your date and time over here. You hit the button and it goes to mirror mode, but it's flashing because it's recording. And you hit it again and it goes completely stealth. So this thing is like really cool. I'm gonna stop the recording. You can go into settings. I'll get more in depth in this when I get it in Ashley's car, but I think this thing is awesome, and the quality is definitely there. And if I remember right, the price wasn't bad on these.
All right, we out here, fam.
I did start removing this oil pan gasket, it was loose. So I am almost certain it was leaking from the bottom or the top of the seal. I mean, look at it. I didn't do anything to it. Look how dirty it is, like, around that oil pan gasket. But anyways, the original oil pan gasket is held on with pop rivets. There is a pop rivet right here, and there's one like right up there. The one that I got, this Apex gasket, does not have the rivet holes in it, so we will not be putting rivets in it. But I will probably apply a little bit of sealant in a couple of the corners. Nothing dramatic, just enough to hold it in place. But we need to do like an extremely thorough cleaning, and I don't really want you guys to have to go through all of it, so I'm just gonna start cleaning parts. I also got my one, this is an HD axle, a heavy duty from Rock Auto. It was like 45 bucks, and the original equipment one was like 250 bucks. So I went with the HD one, and it's identical to the other one. So I'm thinking that at one point in time that this one was replaced, and they replaced it with one like this. As you can see, it's pretty much the same thing. So only thing different is these boots are soft and these ones are hard now, which we're gonna go ahead and fix that. But they're similar in style, and everything about them is identical now, so that's good. We got like two of the same thing now. I thoroughly cleaned this stuff. I still need to clean the pan, but I mean, oil stained metal is oil stained metal. They're wiped down. This is just what they're gonna look like. But here is my old oil sump. There you go. And you can see it's turning white and getting dry. So I'm going to show you some very detailed information on how to install your new one. And there you have it. It took me a while, but we finally got her, and I think things are good. In all honesty though, before you put that back on, wipe a little bit of oil on that O-ring so that it'll slide up in easier and you don't have a chance of it coming out of place or tearing on the way in. Little tip. Just a tip!
That's what she said!
So I wanted to show you some of the main areas I am going to hit with RTV. If you look up in there, in the corner there, and the front two corners, you can see the front cover meets the bottom there. There's actually a little seam there, and that would be a common place for you to have an oil leak. So I am going to hit those with RTV before I put it up in here. But I need to thoroughly get them cleaned out, and as you can see, they're still a little bit oily right now, but I'm gonna get everything cleaned out the best that I can before I do put this back on, so that there is a better chance for that surface to seal. And as you can see on the gasket itself, it actually has extended channels on each side where that's at, and it looks like that fits up in the groove pretty well. But just as an extra precaution, I am going to put a little bit of extra RTV on that area. Now, before I clean this oil pan all up, I do want to show you the crud in it. I took the baffle out of the bottom. Look at all that. That's all sitting down where the drain plug's at. That's just like carbon deposits. I almost guarantee you that was from that seafoam treatment, and how these back two cylinders carbon up on these because of the displacement on demand. it probably knocked all of that carbon out. That's nasty. I did clean this. There was like a layer of crud on this. It wasn't too bad. That's the baffle plate. But I'm gonna clean this all up inside and out, and then we'll keep going. I'm much happier with how this looks now, but I have the pickup tube and the baffle plate in up here, which I still need to bolt this up tight, this cover. Once I get that up tight, I'm going to clean all this again thoroughly, and then maybe I'll set the oil pan up in there and get that part finished. Alright, so all these bolts here, every one of these bolts around the pan are going to be 18 foot-pounds. There's two right there that are very long. They're 108 inch-pounds. And then these are 37 foot-pounds, the ones that go through. And you'll do those ones last. Alright, so the pan is in and it's torqued and all cleaned up. While I'm thinking about it, I looked up here. I got all new belts. My belts are starting to look pretty shoddy. So right now is a perfect time to do it. It's so easy to get to them. There's nothing in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Well, thankfully, the big belt, my original one, looks alright because the belt that they send me is like half of the size. This is what it said my truck called for, and it's definitely not even close. So it is not going on my truck, and this one's going back on. This is a big belt. Yeah, man, I don't even know. That's not even close to being for my truck. So whatever. My AC belt was the main one that was bad, and check it out. This is how you know it's bad. It starts cracking up like that. So the other one had, like, this looks like, is this original? I think this is original belt, 140,000 miles. The other belt is actually a Napa belt, so it has been replaced, and it doesn't have any cracks in it. It's not bad, so we're gonna roll with it since I don't know what the heck that came off of. Before I start doing anything else here, I need to drain the rear diff because I want to paint that rear cover and I want to give it a long time to cure, so I need to like take care of that now. So I'm gonna push this back. We're gonna drain the rear diff. Eventually we'll get this up on the workbench and drain it also. And when we'll pull that apart, there's C-clips that hold the inner shafts in, and this one actually has some gears and stuff on it on the inside, so you have to take it apart on the inside here. And they're saying there's no gasket, but I'm seeing a gasket there. I watched the video and they said that there was no gasket, but there is definitely a gasket there. So I don't know. Might have to look that up. We might have to get that tomorrow. But we're going to replace both of these seals in the front diff. So we're good there. Clean all this stuff up. We'll clean the diff. It'll look like a brand new vehicle underneath here when we're done getting there. Alright, so we got the rear cover off. Our gears look fine. They look good. The limited slip unit looks fine. Everything looks good in there. I cleaned up the surface pretty decent. So it's ready for when we get a new gasket. This has some rust on it. Mainly right here is like the worst of it. So first, I'm going to go over this with Rust Reformer. And then I got Rust Stop. And it's epoxy paint. And it's gloss white to match the truck. Well, on that note, guys, I sprayed Rust Reformer up underneath the truck. Did a lot of it, pretty much all of it. So when I get this done, all I gotta do is spray my fluid film. And the cover's looking pretty nice. Pretty nice. Catch you guys tomorrow. Well, I hope y'all are having a good Saturday morning. We woke up this morning to messages about purchases on our credit card. Over $1,000 worth in fraud charges last night, about 3 o'clock in the morning. So unless Stewie was having a spending spree last night while we were sleeping, were you buying kitty food and You were? Hey, don't you lie to me. We can't afford this crap. We're gonna have to send it back. I don't care. I had this old stereo in the basement. I still have 2 more speakers, but I got these stand-up speakers. I got one there and one there, and I still have, they're probably twice the size of those speakers downstairs. This is an old stereo, but I got a Bluetooth thing plugged into it, so I can Bluetooth from my phone, and we can jam! But anyways, I did sand this. It looks a little rough, but that's just because of, you know, it was rusty. So, it's not perfect, but it looks decent. I don't know if it's dry yet. I painted it before. Yeah, it feels pretty good, actually. So, we need to clean this area up. I had to drive to Tyrone this morning. It was the only place that actually had a gasket for this. I would have had to order a friggin' rear end gasket because no place local or within an hour had it. So I drove to Tyrone this morning and got it. You got oil, everything, so we can finish this job today and get this truck out the garage. And also, you want to know what really hurts? I've done this several times now since I had the truck up in the air. These mud flaps are pretty solid when you walk into them this way. It hurts. I ain't kidding you. These things, they flop forward and backwards, but not front and back. My head hurts.
Living the moment till I die. And I'm gonna chase it. And I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it. No matter how hard we try. And I'm gonna chase it. And I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it. No matter how hard we try. Fire in the veins, I fight to gain. Breaking all the rules to keep me sane.
Okay, so to get that shaft off, I have to take the case apart right there. I'm telling you, there's a gasket there.
But whatever. They say you don't need to use a gasket, but I am seeing one. It looks like it's a 3-piece case there. I don't know. Hopefully it'll split in between those two, and then I don't have to worry about that gasket. This one, both of them have like a retention clip in them. So we're going to get this one out, but you got to pry on this one or get a hammer and tap on it and try to get this one out. I'm going to get my big pry bar, see if I can pop this thing out. Not do the easy one first. Boom. Okay, couldn't really be any simpler than that. They were doing them up in the trucks, the videos I was watching, and it looked a lot harder. And the clip is not in here. The clip stays in there. You would think it'd go the other way around, but that's not how it works on these. It is actually inside there still. Man, that oil looked horrible. So clean that up really good. I'm gonna clean it up best I can, and then I'll throw it back in then. Alright, so the new seal is in on that side. Before I put this all back together, I gotta go get that freaking gasket. I watched videos and they did not use a gasket. Now I'm assuming you probably could do that. There's spacers right there that go in, and you probably take so many of those out to accommodate for what the gasket space did. This was pretty nasty. I had to run an abrasive wheel on it, and then I wire wheeled it, and it's pretty smooth. Got some cross hatches on it. She's good to go. But I cleaned that up as best as I could. There's still some they're just micro pits. They're very, very itty bitty. I think they'll seal up. This thing's been leaking for a long time from what it looks like. These seals don't look like they just started leaking. They have been leaking. So I guess I'll go get this seal. Alright guys, I am heading out. I got my gasket. This is not a part that I can pick up at Advanced Auto or AutoZone or something like that. None of them carry this. I can order it online, but then my truck's down for another week. I called the dealerships. I don't ever recommend doing this, but if you're in a rush, they sometimes have the parts you need. The dealership in Huntington supposedly has one of these, and the one in State College has 2 of them. I really don't want to have to drive to State College, but you know, I couldn't get a hold of anybody in Huntington. I had the guy from the Stalker Chevrolet in State College look the part number up and see if they had one in Huntington, and he said they had one. So even though I can't get a hold of anybody on the phone, I'm heading there right now. I'm going to go get it, and then I'll get back and hopefully get this back together. Almost OEM, guys. I feel like a goon squad. Huh? In all honesty, I don't know how somebody can buy a wrecked car, rebuild it with all OEM parts, and not be thousands over what the car's worth in the end. It's just, you can't. It's not worth it. I'm just telling you that. That, and then the frustrating thing to me was, I went to Huntington, which is 15 minutes from me, to check first. The parts department's not in on Saturdays. Even though I had the part number and I knew they had the part, they couldn't give it to me because it was only the salespeople in. So I had to drive an hour to go get this gasket. I have this thing sitting level. I'm going to fill it up while it's on the floor because it just is a lot easier than trying to fill it while it's up in the truck. This cap right here is where you put the fluid in. You fill it up until it starts coming out or till you get it right to the threads. I'm going to try not to overflow. I'll put a rag here. But yeah, we'll fill her up there. It shouldn't take more than 2 quarts. That's what I got. And Alright, so I put the diff up in, a bunch of other bolts, the steering rack's up in. I still need to torque the diff and steering rack bolts. The drive shaft I still need to hook up. I have it in place. The bolts aren't tight yet. I wanted to work on this CV boot because this is like the only other job that I need to do. I got universal boots. I got 2 different kinds, and it turns out I could have used either one. They would have worked. They're supposed to be inner and outer, but they're universal. So you can use them on either side. But this side was the side that was blown, like it was knocked off right here. And you can see how, you know, it has grease in it, but it's just kind of crappy looking. This side wasn't blown, and you can tell. This is what it should look like. You should have it packed full of grease whenever you get it together. So this is what it should look like on the inside. And here's the boot. You're basically going to cut these off whenever you do it. Anyways, the universal boots, as you can see, I cut the top off of this one because it was the wrong diameter. You need the smaller diameter for this side and the bigger diameter for this side. That's where this thing comes in. I'd say a hot dog joke, but somebody'd get offended. Speaking of which, if you haven't checked out my merch yet, I got 4 new designs on there. One of them being about the hot dog joke. It's pretty funny. Another Harbor Freight shirt and a couple other unwrecked shirts. So if you guys haven't picked up any merch yet, right now there is fresh merch on there if you want to get yourself something new. All kinds of different items. The one shirt I even made cell phone cases and some other things. It's my intro picture with all the cars on it and everything. It's just a plain shirt with that on it, and I thought it was pretty good. So I made a couple other extra things for you guys to purchase. So basically, what's gonna happen here is we're gonna stretch that boot, even that little spot, even right there, is gonna stretch the whole way down over this. And you're going to put this over, and it's going to go bloop, bloop. You're going to pop it right off onto there, and that's how you keep it in one piece. So we're gonna need some lube, boys. Oh no, she's going to be loose. This boot's a whore. Wasted one boot already. I didn't realize this end came off. I had it up over this and I got stuck on there and I could not get it off there. That's my own fault. I see where my mistake was. Feed it on this way. It's a lot easier. It's still, I tell you right now, this thing is a pain to use. You got to get this thing thoroughly greased up and then set it on the floor because you're gonna have a heck of a time putting the boot on there. I'm gonna try to stretch. At least I got a couple more since I'm not doing the other side, so I got some extras. So I'm gonna go grab another one. That's not gonna hold us up. So I tried and tried and tried to push this thing down over. What I found, this made it really easy. I had a piece of exhaust pipe. If you don't have a piece of exhaust pipe, just find something that you can fit on the inside of this. But anyways, I put that on there, and once I got it down to where I could grab the bottom of the boot, I pulled it, and it pulled it straight down over, no problem. Now this should, yes, right over that. Then slide this up as far as you can and just stretch. Here with the old stretch. There it is. That made it so much easier on my black torpedo. Yeah, lube her up. Yeah. So you're probably asking yourself, was it worth all the trouble to do that, to save a couple bucks? Absolutely not. I will not do that again. And they're not even on there, like, they're on there, but they don't look the best. And I'm going to say right now that I will probably be replacing this half shaft with one of those here in the near future. I don't trust that this is going to hold together. Just looking at it, I can tell you it's just not near as good as what that one is. Well, guys, we're on the home stretch, and I know you guys would have loved to have seen this thing finished in this episode. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. I have way too much footage to edit, so this is going to be a long episode, I know, but we will finish this in the next episode. You can count my word on that. But if you haven't yet, go check out my Teespring page. Merch should be on the shelf below. There is new stuff if you actually go to the page, and I'll put a link in the description. Let's get this beast done. So, if you want to see this thing finished, stay tuned for the next episode. Go back and check out some of my other episodes. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode of
Unwrapped.